Chick-fil-A has fallen. I repeat, Chick-fil-A has fallen. They have become woke. At least according to the right wing. Now, this furor against Chick-fil-A has come about over a corporate DEI statement. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So naturally, the right wing is melting down over the idea of, oh my God, diversity, equity, inclusion.
Oh no!
Yeah. All right. Now, here's what the rather bland corporate statement even says. Quote, we understand that the path toward better at Together looks different for every business. At Chick-fil-A Incorporated, our commitment is to approach this work with intention and humility, always believing the best in one another and striving for common good. Again, this was probably written by an AI. We're early on in our journey, but we are honored by the opportunity to steward our organization's greatest asset, our people, and are energized by the road ahead. Now, the statement was accompanied by another set of remarks from Eric McReynolds, which I don't know if this was also written by an AI, but come on. They're all pretty much writing these or making the AIs write these statements and putting them out. Again, super bland, doesn't really say anything, but okay. The statement is as follows. Chick-fil-A restaurants have long been recognized as a place where people know they will be treated well. Modeling care for others starts in the restaurant, and we are committed to ensuring mutual respect, understanding, and dignity everywhere we do business. These tenets are good business practice and crucial to fulfilling our corporate purpose. And the corporate purpose, of course, of, making as much money for shareholders as is their fiduciary responsibility to maximize profit. You know how it is. Standard BS corporate statement. Oops, Freudian slip. At the end of the day, what is it? What's the word for this? Oh, it's milquetoast. But as milquetoast as this is, it has enraged the right-wing culture warriors who, once again, are, freaking out about
The wokers!
The woke. The woke! Now, let me give you some examples of insanity. John Root says, Chick-fil-A just hired a VP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Is this checking off a corporate box, or do they believe in this Marxist nonsense? Jeff Clark says, disappointing. Et tu, Chick-fil-A? Joey Manorino, with probably one of the most unhinged responses, and we'll get to this, okay, says, we have a problem. Oh, do you? You've got many problems. Chick-fil-A just hired a VP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This is bad. Very bad. Oh, I don't want to have a boycott. Are we going to have to boycott? No, you could just eat there like a normal person and not worry about this because it's stupid. But again, that's not the unhinged part. No, it gets worse. He then says, it's only a matter of time until they start putting, and then he uses the T slur against trans people, semen in the frosted lemonade at this point. The what? What? Let me ask you, do people actually think that stuff like this happens? I mean, the number one question here is, why would anyone believe that or do it? And secondly, do they actually believe, do these transphobes think that, and these weirdos, do they think that's how transgender people are made? Through what? Putting their semen in drinks? Like, no. That's not how trans people are made. Trans people are made by non-trans people. I know, weird, right? Straight couples, baby. We made that. All right? 100% of trans people come from straight people. Okay, well, maybe not 100%. But generally, once again, trans people are not created. No, trans people are trans. They're inherently trans. Gay people are inherently gay. They just know when they're younger. They just know. So it's again, this is ridiculous. Weirdo people, weirdo people. But there's more weirdos. In fact, one person says, everything good must come to an end. Here, Chick-fil-A is stating its commitment to systemic racism, sexism, and discrimination. I cannot support such a thing. Wait, what? Wait, what are you talking about? Is this opposite land? Are you living in reality? This is literally what the opposite of DEI actually is. DEI is against systemic racism, sexism, and discrimination. What do you... One more. Sadly, Chick-fil-A is embracing DEI and ESG after being co-opted by race and trans activists who have made it impossible for the organization to reflect the Christian values of its founder. Marxists won't allow for belief in Jesus Christ. None of that makes any sense at all. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here, because I love it when they invoke Marxism. Somehow Marxism means inclusion and DEI, and somehow against religion. I don't recall Marx, and maybe I'm behind on theory, but I didn't think Marx said that you couldn't believe in religion. Certainly had his criticisms, basically implying that organized religion is being used by the elites, the wealthy corporate bosses, corporate elites, politicians, things like that, to hide the terrible conditions of capitalism from workers, using it as the opiate of the masses. He compared it to a drug that prevented workers from feeling the true misery of being exploited by the capitalist system. And I would say he's got a point. But apparently, doing some study here, religion and communism don't seem to be mutually exclusive. I know that's crazy because what I was, I think what all of us were taught, what all of us have learned, is that, and by the way, some of the examples of communist regimes have been generally atheistic. And again, banning organized religions and things like that. But in the movement there, it doesn't really call for that. There are Christian socialists, there are Christian communist theologies. Now, I know I did a little bit of a deep dive here. And those theologies, specifically the communist Christian theologies, argued that the first Christians actually lived in a communist type of society. Historians generally confirm the view that a form of communism was taught by Jesus Christ himself and practiced by the apostles. That would make Jesus the original Marxist. Oops. I know, weird, right? In fact, let me give you the scripture here, which I think, is pretty relevant, I guess, if we're going to have this conversation. This comes from Acts 2:44-45 and Acts 4:32-35. First one. All who believed were together and had all things in common. They would sell their possessions and goods and distribute the proceeds to all as any had need. I don't know, man. That sounds a little like
pink-haired communist.
Well, at least Jesus was. Sounds like communism to me. But there's more. Now, the whole group of those who believed were of one heart and soul, and no one claimed private ownership of any possessions. But everything they owned was held in common. There was not a needy person among them, for as many as owned lands or houses sold them and brought the proceeds of what was sold. They laid it at the apostles' feet, and it was distributed to each as any had need. Oops. Wow. Would you look at that? Apparently, communism in the Bible and is not a negative thing, whereas, of course, Jesus went into the banks, whipped the bankers, the money changers, and hated usury. Weird. And it's funny because we're talking about this during a story about a giant corporate chain like Chick-fil-A, who apparently is woke, Marxist, and serving lemonade tainted with semen. Which is not the weirdest sentence that I've ever had to say in this show. unfortunately for me. Look, these people understand they do not live in the real world. They're just absolute weirdo reactionaries. But you know what? I say keep it up. Hey, weirdo reactionaries going after corporations. Do it. Keep it up. Keep it up. Yes. Let's see more. Let's see more of this attacking corporations. I love it. I love it. I mean, look, I think it's great that the right wing is going after these corporations that give, for one, massive amounts to right-wing politicians. That's massive amounts of legal bribes to these corporations while pretending to care about marginalized communities. Again, these corporations will give massive amounts of money to anti-gay and anti-trans politicians while pretending to care about them. Hey, it's Pride Month, or it will be. We're going to change our logo and then do absolutely nothing else. We're going to do fuck all for the gay and trans community. So sorry. But hey, look, we have a flag. Please spend your money. No. I actually like that this is happening. I mean, it's weird and kind of dangerous because, again, we've got so many bills that are targeting transgender people right now, and it's awful. I mean, you have so many trans people that are having to raise money from GoFundMe to leave Florida because the fascists under Ron DeSantis are making their lives absolutely living a hell. But as far as going after these so-called woke corporations, these corporations who got to sit by and make money off pretending to care about gay and trans people, now they're forced to put up or shut up when it comes to their rainbow washing bullcrap. Rainbow capitalism. That's what it's all about. I'm hoping that this shows the days where corporations can put out a phony statement about how, we love and we respect all LGBTQ plus people. Love is love, while secretly funding some of the worst, most anti-trans, anti-gay, horrible ghouls in, Congress and in state houses and for, presidential campaigns, things like that. Hopefully that comes to an end. Hopefully those days are going away. Hopefully this is the end of at least right now, the rainbow capitalism BS. And they can either be actual allies and put their money where their mouth is, because they're doing this. They're funding these politicians because they get tax cuts. Tax cuts and deregulation. That's what they get. Hopefully they do put up and shut up. Or put up, or shut up. But that's it. Now, the one positive thing, again, about conservatives turning on them is we get to see who they are. Do they back down, like Target? Or, do they not back down? Do they actually, stick to what they say that they're going to stick to? Now, we'll see. We see who they are. Because at the end of the day, the LGBTQIA plus community needs actual, real allies. They don't need fake allies who are in it to make an extra buck. There's enough of that. And if they're not real allies, they're not actually going to put their money where their mouth is and stop funding horrible anti-gay, anti-trans politicians and horrible bills. Then let them fail. Let the right wing drive them out of business. They get what they deserve.